more usual version and not knight f3 d3 thing. And Jan, Nepomniachtchi and Wesley saw they're playing some theoretical line of the Ruy Lopez, it would seem. Yeah. So once again, in terms of, say, the impact on the candidate's qualification, and as soon as we are thinking, I mean, as long as we are thinking the graph is capable of making a draw with white, which sometimes it's, well, that's another story. Sometimes it's not that easy to do. But I suggest we stay with this game, with Nepomniachtchi and Wesley so, because in the other matches, and wait if, let's say, something really exciting happens on the other board. But for the time being, let's stay there. So the Ruy Lopez, this time not d3, but rook e1 was played by Jan. Castle short, so once again, remember, I was saying that, I said this for the few times during the previous days. We've discussed this with Peter Swidloner today, so that makes white play second d4 and various strange stuff. The Marshall, I mean, one of the reasons, right? So this particular time it's anti-Marshall with a4 and then d4, d6, d5, knight e5, and then knight b to d2. There have been a lot of tries. I mean, black was taking with the pawn. After knight e5, white was swapping the knights, going for knight d2. This time it's an immediate knight d2, which allows black to capture here, go bishop b7. After queen d3, yeah, you're going to have to protect the e4 pawn. Knight d7, bishop e3, bishop f6. Well, gets a little bit awkward for white with this b2 pawn. Bishop to d4. Bishop's getting swapped on d4. Black plays a5. White has played h2, h3. Honestly, not quite sure why would you need h2, h3 right now. I mean, understandably, that's a useful move, and you can talk about like avoiding potential backrank problems, but yeah, that seems to be miles away from reality, right? And yeah, so therefore h3, not really sure about the timing for that one. Even though Jan has played it very, very quickly, so it might as well be once again part of some weird computer lines that you have to, well, that you've prepared at home, right? A few more moves followed quickly. Rook, just a couple of rook e1 and then rook e3. It might be that h3 is needed to avoid knight g4 in some cases, but still can't figure out. Yeah, it's like I was trying to create the position in which you would actually need g4 square covered. And I came up with knight d2 in order to play f4, but guess what? The queen is getting trapped. No, but knight h2 perhaps is the idea in case of knight e5. Okay, knight e5 was not played. Queen to f6 was the choice for Wesley So, and the queen goes to c4. Is Peter coming back? Well, not today, regrettably. Yeah, I've enjoyed my time on air with Peter. Hope you guys did. Yeah, but during this Skype thing, of course, obviously I was paying more attention to what Peter Swidler was saying. Now I'll be more interactive with the chats. If there is anything you'd like to ask or point out, you're more than welcome, guys. Okay, so queen to c4, targeting c7, targeting f7, making sure the queen from f6 has something to do. What's black supposed to do about the c7 pawn, will be the question. It might be a bit, it might be a bit unpleasant, in fact. Knight to c5, okay. Knight to c5. After all, it's a nice square, right? So c7 pawn is no longer hanging. The question is e5 ever a move? Is e5 ever a move? Because if it's not, then black does more than okay. Black attacks e4 pawn. Black is planning to swap on b3. Some bishop a6 might be there. I don't actually like white's position unless he has e4, e5. e5, queen g6. Yeah, people mentioned something in the chat. Yeah, e5 played, and I suspect queen g6 will be played instantly. Right. Peter needs to start a Twitch stream. Yes, I keep telling him this. But I'm afraid he won't be streaming chess. So you guys, I mean, you might not get what you're asking for. e5, queen g6, and bishop b3 to a2 played very quickly. Kind of suggests that all that was checked at home. Because even, I mean, as fast player as Jan Nepomniachtchi is, still, I don't really think you act immediately in such positions. So probably something was prepared. Right, so... Well, if anything, I mean, if black will ever need to shut down the diagonal, right, he might want to play before b3. I mean, just to get rid of this battery on f7. But let's say b3 and pawn takes, and still you can't take on e5, which is awkward, right? Unless you take right here. Unless you take right here. Point being rook e5, bishop f3. White's forced to go g3, it seems. Then black captures on e5. White captures on c5. I don't know where it leads. When it's very sharp, it does look very nice for black. I mean, if you ask me, but let's see. So once again, b3 might be an interesting try. And after bishop b3, the plan was just to capture, to simplify. I'm not sure if it works. Maybe this is like not something black wants necessarily, because rook takes, if you take on f3 and e5, white captures on c7, it might be a bit awkward. It's like black certainly has some compensation, but, you know, it's a pawn. And rook a c8, white captures on a5. Rook e c8, white captures on e5. So no immediate way to get the pawn back. Makes sense what Jan is doing. So we'll see how this develops. For the time being, we have this position after bishop a2. And Jan walking in the playing hall, once again, putting some additional psychological pressure on his opponent, to kind of making sure that Wesley so knows this position was prepared. Let's move on to something else. Let's see how comfortable Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is with the white pieces, if he will be able to, well, make a draw. No, never mind winning, but to make a draw would be enough to knock Dmitry Andreikin out of Grand Prix Jerusalem and significantly improve Maxime's own chances of qualifying to the candidates. So it started as, I don't know, some sort of a weird hybrid. It's not even the modern defense, which I was claiming it to be from the very beginning, because c6 is played after bishop g4, bishop e2, d6, d5. So with the loss of a tempo, black is getting still, you can't take on e5. It was very e8, white captures on e5, so no. sense what Jan is doing, so we'll pay too. And Jan, the position kind of calmed down. After queen d5, check on e3 and queen e8 was played. White's pieces, of course, are much more active, right, in this case. But still, will it be enough with only rook and queen being on the board for each side? Rook e5, queen f8, queen e4, doubling this way, c7, c6. A tricky move. If you capture on c6, you get queen f4, and then capture on e5 at the very least, or just an immediate perpetual. So c6, rook e6, and rook to c8. I'm guessing, you know, knowing Wesley saw, it's not, say, not such a... He doesn't think his position is that terrible. I mean, it is possible to defend such things. So king to h7 was played after queen e5. King to h7, rook e7, and rook to d8. Yeah, black needs to establish the coordination in some way. So it's like lift the rook to, well, then I put it on d2, lift it to d5, because being passive was really unpleasant. Queen f3 was better over queen e4. Are we talking this game, guys? Queen f3? Seriously? Rook endgame? Might have been better for the computer, but this I don't really believe. Probably that's just a different position we are talking. Probably that's just a different position. So let's not get distracted with that one. After rook d8, queen e4 check, given, yeah, king has to go to h8, that's obvious. Now, c6 pawn is a taboo for the time being. The rook on e7 is hanging. Rook e6 might be winning a pawn, right? Or might be not. Maybe black just goes c5 then. So the problem with rook e6 move that after rook d6 there is rook e8, yeah? So the rook is bound to stay on the 8th rank. Nepo goes b3. A slow move, but at the same time it kind of underlines that black doesn't have enough counterplay. Oh wow. Speaking of Karyakin and Wei, it turns out, yeah, queen e2 was played, and there was no possibility to go bishop d4. Interesting. So we'll switch back to Karyakin. I'm just curious to see Wesley Sol's very next move. Okay, since we are shown Karyakin's game, let's find out what game is still going. So Jan Nepomniachtchi against Wesley Sol. Last move being rook h1, so white to move. White pole seems completely winning to me. Even with, you know, with variety of ways. King b4 being one of the possibilities. And then, you know, you push both pawns, and then you give the rook for the g pawn when it is like on g2, right? So king b4 is a possibility. Other than that, king b6 perhaps? But then it becomes some sort of a race, right? a7, rook goes to... As a rook a1 doesn't really help. a1 doesn't really help, right? Just go to b7. Yeah, white is like miles ahead there. Go there, promote, take with the rook. The g2, you just go with the king. Yeah, completely winning. Rook e8, played by Jan Nepomniachtchi. Well, very likely transpose after rook a1 and king b6 to the previous line we were looking at. And yeah, and it perhaps is more precise because now black doesn't have g3 because of rook g8. So has to play king f5 first, and then g3 is already not on time. Yeah, completely winning. Rook e8 being a good move as well. Yeah, a pawn is promoting no matter what, precisely. Looks like all 3 games will end in a win. So a draw means a win for Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. He is in the semi-finals, and his opponent very likely to be Jan Nepomniachtchi, who has completely winning position after Wesley Sol. Against Wesley Sol, obviously. Right, and there will be one tiebreak going after Jan's game is finished because Karyakin was the only player so far to equalize the score after losing game 1. Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it seems that the match we were kind of waiting for, right, between direct candidates for the qualification to the candidates once again. I mean, it's not a proper made sentence. The match between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave will happen in the semi-final, unless Jan will somehow manage to misplay this one, which seems impossible. Rook h5 check. Well, you just go king b4. Okay, works as well. Thought king b6 was, yeah, doesn't matter by that point, it seems. Just go promote, right? Rook h7. Just go to g8, yes. Completely hopeless. There is no rook g7, and king f5, black will never be on time. So just go to a5 and you push the b pawn. Yep. Yeah, if Nepo wins the tournament, he'll have the spot, right? Yeah, I don't actually know what chance black has in this. b6. Yeah, and then perhaps you start giving checks, right? That's the only idea I can think of, yeah. Start giving checks. And white king is supposed to have a square to run away. That's the square. Jan simply goes to a4. Yes, there'll be one more check, right? King goes to a3. And then either b pawn or a pawn will move forward. So after rook g4, white trades. And the queens are promoting simultaneously. But queen g8 finishes the game on a spot. Yeah, so a check being given, king goes to a3, and Wesley Sol resigns. So Jan Nepomniachtchi will face Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in the semi-final. In the other semi-final, we have David Navarra waiting for the tiebreak between Karyakin and Wesley to finish. So we'll make a break, and Karyakin and Wesley will be the only 2 players who will continue to play the tiebreak with 10 minutes plus 10 seconds. The next mini match is going to be. How did Wesley lose? People in the chat want to know. Let's double check it, right? Because the argument about Wesley being 2 pawns losing the position 2 pawns up is not kind of I believe it is invalid because, yeah, say with bishop on c6, you could, discuss how one loses being 2 pawns up, but not with bishop on c8. So he was constantly under pressure with all those threats from various angles. Perhaps there was a way to, to defend better, but not the one that I can see. e5 is the move in question, to be honest. This is something I don't know. It's like if e5 was a legit move here. It probably is still bad, right? Some queen c4, knight d6 thing. Yeah, probably still bad. But yeah, but we captured on b2, and then I believe the final attack was actually played very, very nicely by Sergei. Queen d3, this battery on diagonal, yeah, check, followed by bishop d3 in order to make rook f1 happen. After king e7, we've seen what has happened. Bishop g6, another nice move. And you can't do much. g7 pawns hanging. So bishop takes b2 was a mistake, in fact. Well, what was it? After rook d1, yeah, bishop takes b2 was a mistake. Yeah, it feels like a mistake. You have rook on a8, bishop on c8, and you're taking pawns. Yeah. Might have been a mistake. Yeah, and eventually a beautiful finish of rook f7, queen g8. Once again, there was a question what happens after rook c1, queen c1. It's rook f1, the discovered counter check, and white is winning. So I think it'll be it for now. We'll break for like 10 minutes and wait for Wei and Karyakin to start their, well, next portion of their match, because there is no guarantee it will be finished after 10 plus 10 portion. Last time Karyakin played an Armageddon, last time Karyakin played a tiebreak, it went all the way to Armageddon.